All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
It's great to be here.
We're going to be talking all about blood sugar today, more specifically how to prevent those big spikes.
That's right.
Um, and so to kind of set the stage here, we're going to be taking a look at an article from Healthline called 12 Tips to Prevent Blood Sugar Spikes.
Love that title.
And we're also going to be diving into an article from Abbott Newsroom all about what causes glucose spikes, why we should care about them, and of course, most importantly, what to do about it.
Yeah, I think these two sources are going to be a really good combo because they both kind of go beyond the basics. They give you like that deeper understanding of really how to manage your metabolic health, even if you don't have diabetes.
Exactly. And that's what I'm so excited to dig into today, because I feel like this is a topic that can be really empowering.
Totally.
Like you can actually take control of your blood sugars and make choices that make a difference. So before we get into the really practical tips and tricks, let's just kind of level set here.
Okay.
What is actually happening in our bodies when we talk about blood sugar spiking?
So picture this, right? You eat a meal and your body, particularly if it has carbs in it, breaks those carbs down into glucose.
Okay.
And glucose is like the fuel for your cells.
Right.
So it enters your bloodstream, and that's what causes that, blood sugar level to rise.
Gotcha.
Now, little fluctuations throughout the day, totally normal.
Right.
It's how our bodies are supposed to work.
Makes sense.
But it's when we get those dramatic spikes, those
Right, those big swings.
yeah, those big swings that things can get a little bit, well out of whack.
Okay, that makes sense. But why do we care?
Right.
Like, why is it important to even pay attention to this? Is it just a number on a test? Or is this something that we should be actively trying to manage?
It's more than just a number.
Right.
Both of these articles really emphasize that those frequent, dramatic swings in blood sugar can actually increase your risk for some pretty serious long-term problems like type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
Okay.
And even in the short term, they can just make you feel terrible, like, sluggish and foggy-headed.
Yeah, you get that, like, energy crash.
Exactly. And that hangry feeling.
Oh, yeah, the hangry feeling for sure.
Uh,
I know that one.
So it's definitely something worth paying attention to.
Okay, so it's not just about the long-term health implications. It's also about how we feel day to day.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what causes these spikes in the first place. I'm guessing carbs are at the top of the list.
Yeah, you guessed it. Carbs are definitely a big factor. But here's the thing. Not all carbs are created equal.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting.
Yes. So we've got those refined carbs, like white bread, sugary cereals, processed snacks. Those are the main culprits. They digest really quickly, which causes that rapid surge in blood sugar. It's kind of like slamming on the gas pedal and then hitting the brakes hard. It's not a smooth ride for your system.
I like that analogy. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about like banishing carbs altogether, but making smarter choices, right?
Exactly.
What about those complex carbs?
Complex carbs are our friends.
Oh, wow.
So these are the ones that you find in like whole grains and legumes and veggies.
Okay.
And they're digested much more slowly.
Gotcha.
Which means they provide like a nice steady stream of energy without those dramatic peaks and valleys.
So it's like choosing a scenic route that keeps your energy levels like nice and stable.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked about carbs now. One thing that surprised me in these articles was that carbs aren't the only thing that can throw our blood sugar off.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there were some surprising factors that I didn't even realize could play a role.
Right. It's like this really fascinating interplay of different factors.
Yeah.
So one of the big ones is stress.
Oh. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're stressed, your body releases those hormones like cortisol and adrenaline.
Right.
And those hormones can actually tell your liver to release stored glucose into your bloodstream.
So even if I'm eating all the right things, if I'm super stressed, my blood sugar could still spike.
Exactly. It's like your body's ancient fight or flight response kicking in, getting you ready for action.
Wow.
But in today's world, we're often stressed without actually needing to like physically run away from danger.
Right. It's not like we're running from a tiger or something.
Exactly. So all that extra glucose ends up just, hanging out in your bloodstream, causing a spike.
Okay, that is so interesting. And it makes me wonder about other seemingly unrelated factors like, what about dehydration?
Ah, yes. Dehydration can definitely play a role, too.
The Healthline article mentioned that one.
Yeah, so when you're dehydrated, your body produces a hormone called vasopressin,
Okay.
which tells your kidneys to, conserve water. But here's the catch. It also signals your liver to release more sugar into your bloodstream.
So even something as simple as not drinking enough water can mess with our blood sugar.
It really can. It's amazing how interconnected everything is in our bodies.
It really is.
Yeah.
And speaking of interconnectedness, the Healthline article also mentions sleep, like getting enough sleep.
Oh, yeah. Sleep is huge.
So even if I'm nailing my diet and managing my stress, if I'm not sleeping well, my blood sugar could still be out of whack.
Absolutely. Sleep deprivation can really throw your hormones off balance, which can then lead to insulin resistance.
Oh, wow. Okay. I am officially adding prioritized sleep to my blood sugar checklist.
Good idea.
Okay, so stress, dehydration, sleep. These are all things that I'm starting to see how they could impact blood sugar.
Yeah.
But there's one more I have to ask about, and I'm a little hesitant because I have a feeling it's not going to be good news. But what about alcohol?
Yeah, that's a good one. So it's not necessarily about eliminating alcohol altogether, but it's definitely important to be mindful.
Okay.
The problem is that a lot of alcoholic beverages, especially these like mixed drinks and sugary cocktails, are loaded with sugar.
Ugh. So those fancy cocktails can send my blood sugar soaring just like a candy bar would.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, no?
And to make matters worse, most alcoholic drinks don't offer much in terms of nutritional value.
Right.
It's basically just empty calories contributing to those unwanted spikes.
Okay, so moderation is key.
Definitely.
Mindful choices about what I'm
Oh,
drinking.
exactly.
I'm curious, is there a difference between different types of alcohol in terms of their impact on blood sugar?
That's a great question. And actually, it's something we're going to delve into deeper when we explore those tips for keeping blood sugar steady.
Okay, perfect. Because now I am ready to learn what we can actually do about all of this.
Me too. Let's get to those tips.
Let's do it.
So let's dive into some of the things we can actually do to prevent these blood sugar roller coasters.
Yeah, let's get practical.
Right. So the good news is that both the Healthline article and the Abbott piece, they offer some really practical advice.
I like that that's what I'm all about. Like, give me the actionable stuff.
Right, exactly.
So what stood out to you? Like, what are some of the key takeaways?
Well, the Healthline article lists 12 tips in total,
Okay,
and they're surprisingly simple things you can actually incorporate into your everyday life.
perfect.
You know, it's not about like deprivation or crazy overhaul.
Right, it's got to be sustainable.
Exactly. It's just those little sustainable changes that add up over time.
I love that. So it's all about empowering ourselves to make those healthier choices.
Exactly.
Speaking of empowerment, the article mentioned drinking more water
Yes.
as a way to help keep blood sugar stable. I was surprised by that one. How does that actually work?
Yeah, I know, right? It's easy to underestimate the power of water.
Right.
But the Healthline article actually cited a study that found that people who drank at least 34 ounces of water a day were significantly less likely to develop high blood sugar.
Oh, wow.
And if you think about it, when you're dehydrated, your blood sugar becomes more concentrated.
Now that makes sense.
So by staying hydrated, you're basically diluting that concentration.
Gotcha. So it's like a simple way to kind of even things out.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that one. What other tips kind of jumped out at you?
Well, I found the one about adding vinegar to your diet pretty intriguing.
Wait, vinegar, really?
Yeah, it might sound strange.
That's not the first thing that comes to mind when I think about blood sugar.
Right, but some research actually suggests that vinegar, especially apple cider vinegar, can help improve your body's response to insulin.
So like a salad dressing with vinegar would be better than like a creamy dressing.
Exactly. The Healthline article actually explains that vinegar appears to slow down the rate at which food empties from your stomach,
Okay.
which in turn helps prevent those rapid surges in blood sugar after you eat.
Interesting.
And get this, one study even found that consuming vinegar with a high-carb meal significantly reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes compared to a placebo.
Wow. Okay, I am going to have to experiment with that one. I'm intrigued.
It's worth trying.
Okay, what else did you find in those articles?
Another one that I thought was interesting was the importance of getting enough chromium and magnesium.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about those.
Yeah, so these minerals often fly under the radar,
Right.
but they're actually really important for helping your body use insulin effectively.
Okay.
So chromium is thought to enhance the action of insulin,
Okay.
which helps your cells absorb sugar from your blood more efficiently.
So it's like giving your cells a helping hand to grab that glucose and put it to good use.
Exactly. You can find good sources of chromium in foods like broccoli egg yolks, shellfish Brazil nuts.
Okay, and what about magnesium?
Magnesium is another mineral that's been linked to better blood sugar control.
Okay.
Studies suggest that it can improve insulin sensitivity and even help regulate blood sugar levels directly.
Wow, it's like a multitasking mineral.
Right. It's working hard behind the scenes.
I like it. And you can find magnesium in things like spinach, almonds, avocados, peanuts.
Exactly.
Okay, so chromium and magnesium, they're like the dynamic duo of blood sugar control.
I like that, yeah, they work together to keep those levels in check.
And the Abbott article mentioned that they work even better together than alone.
Yeah, they highlighted a study that found that taking chromium and magnesium together was more effective than taking either one alone in improving insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation.
Oh, wow.
So it's that synergy, it really highlights the importance of getting a variety of nutrients from whole foods.
That's all about balance.
Exactly.
Okay, we've talked about drinking water, vinegar, chromium, magnesium, but those are only a few of those 12 tips.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface.
What else should we know?
Well, one tip that I found really interesting was the idea of combining food strategically.
Okay, combining food strategically, what does that even mean?
So it's all about pairing those carb-rich foods with protein, fiber, or healthy fats.
Okay,
So you're basically creating a balanced plate that helps slow down the digestion of those carbs and prevents those rapid surges in blood sugar.
so instead of just like a plain bowl of cereal, I could add some nuts and seeds for healthy fats and protein,
Exactly.
which would help prevent that big spike.
Exactly. Or imagine you're having a piece of fruit for a snack. Instead of eating it on its own, you pair it with some almonds or some Greek yogurt.
Gotcha.
That protein and that fat will help slow down the absorption of the sugar from the fruit.
So it's not about restricting foods, it's just being smart about how we combine them.
Right, exactly.
What other clever combos does the article suggest?
Another tip is to be mindful of the order in which you eat your foods.
Wait, the order matters.
It can actually make a difference.
How does that work?
So the idea is to start your meal with veggies or a protein source before you dive into the carbs.
Okay.
And that helps slow down the absorption of glucose.
So it's like creating a buffer. So
Exactly.
the carbs don't hit your bloodstream all at once.
Exactly. The fiber in veggies, for example, can really help slow down the digestion of those carbs.
Okay, so the order of operations matters.
It does.
I had no idea what else.
All right, well, a couple more practical strategies.
Okay.
One is regular physical activity.
All right, that one seems pretty intuitive. Exercise helps burn off excess glucose, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it goes beyond just burning calories. Regular physical activity actually helps improve your body's sensitivity to insulin.
Oh, okay.
So your cells become more efficient at using glucose for energy.
That's awesome.
And the great thing is, it doesn't have to be anything super intense. Even a brisk walk after meals can make a difference.
I like that incorporating those movement snacks throughout the day.
Exactly. Little bits of movement here and there can really add up.
I like that. And what about the last tip?
The final one that I wanted to mention was managing portion sizes.
Okay, that seems obvious, but it's easy to overlook.
It is. It's easy to get carried away.
So even if I'm making healthy choices, if I'm eating like massive portions,
Yeah,
it could still lead to those spikes.
exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot, where you're giving your body the energy it needs without overwhelming it with too much glucose at once.
That makes sense.
It's about balance.
It's always about balance.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here with those 12 tips from the Healthline article, but there's one more piece of the puzzle that we need to talk about, and that's continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs.
Yes, CGMs are super interesting.
I'm fascinated by this technology. It seems almost futuristic. Could you just break it down for us? What is a CGM and how does it work?
So essentially, a CGM is a small wearable device that continuously monitors your glucose levels throughout the day and night.
Okay.
And it has a tiny sensor that's inserted just under your skin, usually on your arm or belly.
Okay.
And that sensor measures your glucose levels in the fluid surrounding your cells.
So instead of pricking your finger multiple times a day to check your blood sugar, this is giving you a constant stream of data?
Exactly. And that continuous data can be incredibly valuable.
Right.
The Abbott article really highlights how their CGM called Lingo can provide these personalized insights into your blood sugar patterns.
Okay.
It helps you identify trends. You can see how different foods, activities, even stress levels affect your glucose in real time.
That sounds like a game changer.
It can be, imagine seeing exactly how that slice of birthday cake or that intense workout affects your blood sugar.
Right. No more guesswork.
Exactly. It takes all the guesswork out of it and lets you make those informed choices.
It's like having a little blood sugar detective on your arm, constantly gathering clues.
I love that analogy.
And then helping you solve the mystery of your own unique metabolic responses.
Exactly. And speaking of those unique responses, I think it's important to emphasize that a CGM isn't just for people with diabetes.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying that even people without diabetes could benefit from using a CGM.
Absolutely. In fact, the Abbott Newsroom article actually touched on this. There is a growing trend of people without diabetes using CGMs just to get a better understanding of their metabolic health.
So even if you don't have blood sugar concerns, it could still be valuable information.
Exactly. Even if you don't have any concerns, it can provide you with data that can help you optimize your diet, your exercise routine, your lifestyle.
Okay, so it's not just about managing existing conditions. It's about being proactive.
Exactly.
What kind of insights could someone without diabetes gain from using a CGM?
Well, for starters, it could help you identify those hidden spikes you might not even be aware of.
Okay.
You might be surprised to learn how certain foods or your sleep patterns or even your stress levels are affecting your blood sugar.
Right.
And with that awareness, you can start making adjustments to your diet and lifestyle to keep those levels stable.
So it's like personalized nutrition and exercise based on your own body's data.
Exactly. It's about taking control of your health and making those informed choices based on data rather than guesswork.
I love that. And speaking of making informed choices, I think it's time to wrap things up and leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so what's the big question we're leaving them with today?
Well, we've talked a lot about the potential benefits of CGMs, but they're often seen as, a tool just for people with diabetes.
Right.
So what if we challenge that assumption? What if even if you don't have diabetes, you considered trying a CGM, even just for a week or two,
Okay.
just to see what insights you might gain about your own metabolic responses?
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It could be really eye-opening to see how our bodies react to, different foods, sleep patterns, stress levels, even the order we eat our food.
Exactly. Think of it as a temporary experiment,
Yeah.
a way to gather data and learn more about your own individual blueprint.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover and how that could help you make healthier choices.
So it's like taking a deep dive into your own personal data
Exactly.
to kind of unlock a deeper understanding of your metabolic health.
Exactly. And with that knowledge, you can start to fine-tune your diet, your exercise, your sleep habits, your stress management techniques.
So it's all about being proactive.
Absolutely. Taking control of your health destiny.
I love that message.
Yeah,
That is a powerful note to end on.
it is.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this. Embrace the power of knowledge. Make those small, sustainable changes. And if you're feeling adventurous, explore the world of CGMs. You might be amazed by what you learn about your own body.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every little step you take towards understanding and managing your blood sugar is a win.
Yes, I love that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of blood sugar. We hope you walked away with some valuable insights and a renewed sense of empowerment. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.